It is 9:23 a.m. of Thursday, January the 27th, and I'm going to be again focused on morning panic bounce plays. I'm going to try to trade them to the best of my ability. Sometimes they're very profitable, sometimes they're not so profitable, like yesterday was with ILUS, although RMSL was a pretty nice one. With all things into consideration, I'm going to focus on that, and of course any uptrending setups later, but for right now, morning panic bounce plays. Let's see if we have any. Alright, it is 9:54 a.m. and I just learned a valuable lesson and a good reminder that costing me about $22.50 with ENZC. If you can tell right here, ENZC did not look like a bad morning panic bounce play at all. In fact, you can say that it kind of worked. It didn't necessarily get to VWAP, but it still made a nice subtrend from the bottoms here. You can see it got to the 95 level. If you want to count the wick, 95 flat, and it did get as high as 99 on the ask or sell into the bid right now at 97.5. So there was definitely a move here. It doesn't have the best daily charts. It clearly doesn't have the best daily chart, but I got owned here because of a mistake, and it was totally my fault. So the idea was that I was in at 937, which was right here, right before it started to like base and make a higher low off of this level right here, and continue to make a move towards the upside. Although this one also doesn't have the best volume, and I was looking at I think I was looking at NLSC, seeing if it could try to reverse. I think right here, like maybe some kind of a market open and it holds a level and then it uptrends, because after all it has a daily chart that could support a move towards the upside. And when I looked and saw ENZC was down enough for me to consider it for a morning panic bounce play at 937, I saw the chart, I saw the price action, everything looked ideal. The ask looked very small, there was a wall of bidders supporting it, and I thought, alright, let's get in, and I got in quickly. I didn't even really pay attention to the difference in the price, and that's where I got owned. It was a nasty spread. At 937, the bid was around this 9.5 to 9.6 level, and the ask was all the way at 9.85. So the issue was that with ENZC, I type in the ticker, I put buy because it's under 10 cents, 10,000 shares, which would be a $10 risk level. And thinking, okay, I might be in at 9.6, whatever, I'm risking 9.5. That's totally into my dollar risk level and everything. I placed the order, I got filled immediately, and then I looked, oh shit, 9.85. There was a big spread between the bid and the ask, and it could be because it doesn't have a lot of volume. I also just didn't check. It's obviously been in a promotion before, but I just should have kept that in notice. I should have checked the bid and the ask and just made sure that or at least whatever puts up here is not a big difference from the bid, and that was totally the case. So I was in at 9.85 right here. Totally a bad spot to be in, at least now at this point, because the pattern still played out. And if I somehow still held, which I wouldn't have really have done, I didn't in this case too, at least I would have been able to in theory sell here for break even. But that shows you how bad of an entry that was. And so I was in at 937, right? Horrible price. Ideally I would have been in at 9.6. That would have been totally fine. And even if I were to have been in at 9.85, with the way I consider my position size based off of a dollar risk level, I would be risking this level breaking the day low. So 98 to 97, that's 2 sections. 97 to 96 is 3 sections, and then 96 to 95 is 4 sections. So I would have you can watch my video where I just go over how I calculate my position size, but because it's 3 sections, I have to size down 2 times, because if it's under 2 sections, I don't have to change it. So I would have had to have traded 2,500 shares to have been sized inappropriately. So I was way oversized considering where I was in. But if I was in where I thought I was going to be in the 9.6 level, that would have been totally fine. I would have been sized inappropriately. So I was oversized, because I got in at the ask, which was a big difference from the bid. and I got screwed at 938. It also wasn't looking good, the price action, because it was like a big 100k seller showing up at the ask, and I thought, this thing doesn't really trade enough of volume to, manage a 100k seller at the ask. I don't want to be in a situation where, I have to cut losses on this trade too. I learned my lesson from that other one with OWUV, I believe, where I was sized in too much and then I had to cut losses. If I'm not sized in appropriately, I need to cut my size immediately. And in this case, I was just in at a horrible price because it was a big spread between the bid and the ask. So at that point, I got out at 963 at 938, which was right here, right about here. At least I didn't get the very bottom of the candle. And again, because the pattern is still there, even though this one doesn't have good volume, and it does have a bit of a spread, not as bad as it was when I was in it. It still is something where I would have been able to have gone out for a break even or maybe a profit if I had my order executed on the ask. So it's still struggling with VWAP. It might get past it, it might not, but yeah, that was a big lesson right there. That sucks, but it only costed 22 bucks. I'm sure all of the successful traders have made plenty of mistakes. That's how they got to where they are. They didn't get there by doing everything perfectly and never being wrong ever. That's not realistic. So I think I'm just going to take the L right here. Just have 22 reasons why to remember this and not let it happen in the future. And I think that's all I can really do. There isn't really anything else that I'm interested in right now, but I will keep looking. This actually doesn't look too bad, although it kind of broke the level a little bit. I'll make an update later, but yeah, totally took L with ENZC, but I learned a great lesson from that. It was only 22 bucks, not 220 bucks. That's all I have for right now, and I'll make an update later. It is 10:53, 10:54. I like this big bidder. He just popped up, although it might be fake. I'm in this setup since 10:48, right here. The idea is I'm going to cut losses if it breaks the day low. I'm in 10,000 shares. EPAZ kind of had this little thing where it downtrended, had a move here, then it kind of came back to the same level, and I'm in at 14. I didn't get screwed by a big spread this time. I made sure I wasn't going to do anything dumb. And I had this little downtrend right here, and now maybe it can try to do something later, although this could be something that could take a while to play out. So I have that in mind. I'm just watching it. I do have a trend line from here to this little level right here, so I'll have that into consideration. I like the big bidder here, but this thing can totally not work out, and I have to cut losses quickly. But I've seen this a lot of times. This could be one where it plays out, and that would be ideal. The only thing that's not ideal is that this thing is very illiquid. Okay, it is 11:02 a.m. and I think I made maybe $5 with EPAZ. Unfortunately, that's going to be shadowed by my mistake getting wrecked on the spread with ENZC. But I do want to go over how I traded EPAZ. I was in again at 48 right here, 1048 right here at 14, and it started to follow. I did this little trend line right here, right, with this candle and this one. So when I first got in the trade, my risk level was a day low breaking because they could totally do that. But then I had this little trend line here that's uptrending, right? And if it just takes too long, maybe it'll work out, but it's just less ideal. So I had this little trend line here, and in theory, if it were to have gotten under the trend line or maybe right at it, and then the level 2 doesn't look nice, I would have considered exiting. So that was the case there with this trend line right here, and then it started to work at 11:01. I sold half my position at 14.4. Right here, 11:01 was right here. 14.4 is when I put a sell order and I got executed. So you can see right now it's 14.5 by 14.7. So the idea is that nobody has really hit the bid. So when I put a sell order at 14.5, I'll probably get 14.5, but there's always a chance I might get 14.6 because again there might be a hidden bidder above this 14.5 person. and that's kind of what happened there at 11:01. I got out. Oh, jeez, I am gonna fight this freaking thing in my throat. I don't care how freaking bad it is. I'm not gonna cough, but again, half my position out, and then I sold the other half. Wow, actually the same minutes. 14:07, 11:01. It doesn't show, but I got out at 14:07. You see, right? Actually, the top I got filled. Maybe 14.65, and it rounded up to 14.7, but well, it says 14.7 there, so you know, it just started shooting up. I would have liked something, you know, more gradual. So when it just shoots up, I'm more interested in getting out, even though the level 2 was looking nice for a move towards the upside. So yeah, that was one trade there. And I'll make an update later. I'm glad I got to have this trade there. It really sucks with the ENZC, but that's totally fine. Alright, it is 8:58 p.m. and I am here to call it off. Overall, I finished down about $17.32. It really sucks, and this was a great reminder. At least it wasn't as bad as a mistake it was last week, where I went 10x the size that I was supposed to be. In this case with ENZC, I just shouldn't have checked the bid and the ask, because this one happened to be one of the ones that have a really wide spread, which makes it very manipulative. If I would have gone in at 96, I would have been super profitable here, because you know, it is a higher priced penny stock, so I would have, you know, traded a larger position just because of the price, and it wouldn't have paid out massively here. But that's totally fine. Just a great lesson learned there. A great reminder to just check, and you know, it's better to just miss a setup than to jump in and not checking all of the basic things, such as the bid and the ask for a spread. So I think a great lesson was, you know, made here, and I'm glad it came all the way back down just for me. And then as for EPAZ, this was the setup. Now it did get to 15 in theory. The ask was right here after, you know, it put up a baby higher low from here, but it did downtrend the rest of the day. But I'm glad that I took this setup here, and ideally I can keep getting better. Just a stupid mistake there, but I think a great lesson, and I hope all of you guys watch can also learn from it as well. That's all I have for today.